Rachel, as the Children's Commissioner for England, I mean, this has been a tricky couple of days for children who are quite worried and alarmed. What have you been hearing?
Yeah, so we're hearing from lots of children and parents who are just worried because let's just think about it for a moment. Everyone got ready to start the term. They've got their pencil cases, their uniforms ready. They're really excited. We know how important it is. And then for some children, I mean, it's a small number of schools. There are 23,000 schools, and we're talking about 100 plus affected. But it's a real worry that start of term is disrupted. My job is to hold government and parliament to account. I've been in the minister's office and talking to senior civil servants every day on behalf of children to ask the hard questions, and I'm really excited to be here to give those answers and talk to children today.
Is there a bit of tension at the moment? Are you happy with the answers that you're getting when you're asking questions?
So I think everyone's working really hard. I don't think there's anybody who isn't really concerned and worried about the fact that the start of school has been disruptive for children, and most importantly, I think everyone is really, really concerned about safety.
So Rachel, we've got some questions that have been sent to us from Newsround viewers. I'll start with the first one. This is from Livesy Dib. They want to know, why has this issue only been discovered recently?
This material, this RAAC concrete, they call it bubbly concrete, was used in school building from the 1950s through to the 1990s. It has a shelf life and was really only meant to last 30 or 40 years. So everybody has known these schools need replacing, and there is an issue. This concrete needs replacing. I just think what's happened is there have been a few incidents, like last term and during the summer, and I think the specialists have looked at it and realised actually this needs sorting now.
A Starfish89 wants to know, if it was known RAAC was only going to last around 30-40 years, why was it used in the first place?
So I think when it was first used in the 50s, there was an awful lot of building that needed to happen. And I think everybody thought it was absolutely reasonable to think that we'd have a rebuild programme, and that sort of life of 50 years was long enough.
Harker Mal wants to know, do other buildings that aren't schools have RAAC in them?
So if we go back to that just after the war, when this sort of concrete was being used, and there were lots of buildings that needed to happen, like back in the 50s. So lots of public buildings will have this in. And I know that government is looking at all the public buildings to make sure they're completely safe and that nobody needs to be concerned about them.
Zany Bainey wants to know, how do we know if our school has RAAC?
Every head teacher will now know whether they've got RAAC, and they will have talked to the parents and the children. So what I want to tell everyone, most people, the vast majority of children, their schools will not be affected. If they were, they would know about it.
Okay.
And honestly, schools will be communicating. I know head teachers, they will be talking to parents, talking to children. So really do not worry about it if you haven't heard.
Hannah Rose wants to know, do you have any idea of how long the school closure problem will go on for?
So I am absolutely focused on making sure that every child is in learning in front of a teacher, and that if a school has had to close, and a small number of them have, there's an alternative arrangement made absolutely quickly. If it goes on more than days, I'm going to be hot on the heels of ministers and others to make sure that children are in a proper situation.